Have you ever stopped to wonder why your car seems like it's doing fine but never actually runs great? Why the power fades little by little, the gas disappears fast, and your mechanic keeps showing up in your life with a bill that makes your wallet cry? I spent 20 years fixing other people's cars. Today, I'm going to fix your future. Ishiki around. Tip number 1 in this video costs $12, takes 5 minutes, and it's the reason my truck hit 387,000 miles without a serious rebuild. But first, do me a favor, hit like right now, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. The algorithm works just like a dealership mechanic. If you don't ask, you don't get squat. Let's get into it! 17. The throttle body reset. Every modern car has electronic throttle control. A computer decides how much the throttle opens when you press the gas pedal. The problem is that computer learns your habits over time. If you ease off stoplights, accelerate slow, and never push past 3,000 RPM, the system learns you're a nervous driver and starts treating the car like some kind of luxury hearse. Then you change the oil, swap the air filter, put in new plugs, and the car still drives like it's half asleep, because the computer memorized all your bad habits and refuses to let go. The dealership charges around $250 for that recalibration. You can do it in under a minute. No tools, no parts. Turn the key to the on position without starting the engine. Press the gas pedal all the way to the floor and hold it for 10 seconds. Turn the key off, release the pedal, wait another 10 seconds, then start the car normally. That wipes the learned habits and forces the system to start fresh. A customer of mine did this on a 2018 Chevy Cruze. He texted me right after saying the car felt like a different machine. Instant throttle response. Smoother idle. Zero costs, zero tools. Results you feel same day. But throttle response doesn't mean anything if your engine is choking on the inside. And that's exactly what most cars with more than 30,000 miles are dealing with right now. 16. The secret intake manifold cleaning. That feels like injecting horsepower. Pop the hood on any car with more than 40,000 miles and look inside the throttle body and intake manifold. You'll find a dark, sticky buildup that looks like BBQ grease baked onto a cast iron skillet. That's carbon accumulated from oil vapors and fuel residue. That partial blockage reduces the air going in, weakens combustion, and makes your engine sluggish without you even noticing. The dealership will charge you around $450 for an intake cleaning. You can do it yourself with a $20 product in 15 minutes. Warm the engine up to normal operating temperature. Then, with the engine running at around 2,000 RPM, spray intake manifold cleaner directly into the intake. A product specifically made for this, available at any auto parts store, like AutoZone or O'Reilly. The engine will sputter, blow white smoke, and sound like it's about to die. Don't panic. That's the carbon coming out through the exhaust. When the smoke clears, the engine will growl differently. Smoother? Hungry for the road. A customer brought me a Ford Focus that was drinking gas like it had a gambling problem. After this cleaning, fuel economy improved by more than 2 miles per gallon at today's gas prices. That's around $800 a year staying in your pocket. But even with a clean intake, your transmission could be quietly destroying itself while you read this. 15. The automatic transmission fluid trick that saves gear. Walk into a dealership and ask if you need to change the automatic transmission fluid. I guarantee they'll say no. Lifetime fluid, factory, sealed, no maintenance required. That line has a more honest name that I won't say here because this is a family channel. Lifetime fluid means it lasts until the warranty expires. After that, it's your problem. I rebuilt 46 transmissions in my career that died right after the warranty period. And in almost every case, the fluid was degraded dark, smelled burnt, and loaded with fine metallic particles. The trick every experienced mechanic uses is the progressive partial flush every 15,000 miles. Drain and refill only 1/3 of the total fluid capacity. Repeat that 3 times over 45,000 miles, and you'll have replaced practically all the fluid without ever shocking the system with a full sudden flush. A customer brought me a Jeep Grand Cherokee with 120,000 miles. Transmission slipping. Dealership quote nearly $4,000 for a rebuild. We did 3 partial flushes over 30 days. By the 3rd flush, the transmission was shifting clean, firm, and precise. Total cost, $180. The manufacturer doesn't tell you this because fluid means paid service visits for them, which from their perspective is fantastic. From your perspective, not so much. Now, if the transmission is solid but the engine still misfires, the answer might be a small part that fits in your shirt pocket. 14. The spark plug gap adjustment. Every spark plug comes pre-gapped from the factory. Pre-gapped from the factory means gapped to an average that works reasonably well in all engines, in all climates, for all kinds of drivers, which is basically saying it was set to not be bad for anyone and also not great for anyone. In 20 years of wrenching, I never once saw a spark plug come out of the box with the perfect gap for a specific customer's engine. The secret is to tighten the gap just a little below what the manual specifies, about 20 thousandths of an inch tighter. That produces a more concentrated, more efficient spark underload, which improves throttle response, stabilizes the idle, and can recover a mile or two per gallon. I tested this on a Honda Civic with a rough idle. Gap adjustment. Idle smoothed out immediately. Acceleration felt sharper. No new parts. No service charge. The manufacturer doesn't recommend this because it affects the emissions parameters used during vehicle certification, but for someone driving daily on I-95 or in stop and go on the 405, the difference is real and immediate. But even the best spark won't fix a lying sensor. The oxygen sensor? The O2 sensor monitors exhaust gases and tells the car's computer the ideal air-to-fuel mixture. Over time, carbon buildup on the sensor tip slows its response, causing the computer to misread the mixture and dump fuel it doesn't need. Replacing the sensor runs around $350 at the dealership. But before you go there, try this. Remove the sensor carefully. Soak the tip overnight in carbon cleaner or even regular gasoline and reinstall it. Koszty zero. Result in most cases, sensor precision restored, fuel economy improved. I've saved customers more than $12,000 over the last 2 years with that simple cleaning before recommending a replacement. If the cleaning doesn't fix it, then you replace it, but you try first. Hit the like button yet. Still haven't. Stop everything. Smash that like and drop a comment below about which tip surprised you most so far. The algorithm appreciates it, and so do I. 12. The airbox secret the manufacturer will never tell you. The airbox in your car was not designed to maximize performance. It was designed to muffle noise, meet emission standards, and restrict airflow. It's basically a faucet that's never allowed to open all the way. There's a modification garage mechanics have been doing for decades. With a drill, you make 2 or 3 half-inch holes in the cold side of the airbox, the side opposite the engine. This increases the volume of fresh air entering before the filter, without compromising filtration since the filter stays intact. Cooler, denser air enters the engine. Combustion becomes more efficient, and you feel it in the throttle. A Honda Fit owner. I worked but gained nearly 2 miles per gallon and noticeably punchier acceleration with 3 holes and 5 minutes of work. The manufacturer doesn't publish this because it alters vehicle emissions parameters. But for everyday drivers, the effect is real. But holes in the airbox won't do anything if the sensor measuring that air is lying to the computer. 11. The MAF sensor cleaning that looks like magic but is just chemistry. The mass airflow sensor, the MAF measures exactly how much air enters the engine every second and reports that to the computer, which then calculates how much fuel to inject. Over time, a thin layer of dust and oil residue coats the sensor wire, making it read less air than what's actually coming in. The result is a miscalibrated mixture, increased fuel consumption, rough idle, and that feeling that your car lost its get-up-and-go overnight. Most people replace the sensor for between $150 and $300. Before you throw money at it, try this. Unplug the sensor connector. Spray it with MAF sensor cleaner, nothing else, and let it dry for 10 minutes before A customer's SUV was getting 14 miles per gallon after $8 of MAF cleaner, 18 miles per gallon. That's roughly $1,200 a year in gas savings. Every dealership mechanic does this before selling you a new sensor. The difference is they charge you for the sensor anyway. 10. The fuel filter that doesn't exist, according to the manufacturer. Walk into any dealership and ask when to change the fuel filter. The answer will be quick and confident. You don't. It's factory sealed. It lasts the life of the car. That statement is technically accurate and practically irresponsible at the same time. The filter sits inside the fuel tank, part of an assembly with the fuel pump. Life of the car means life of the warranty. After that, the filter starts trapping particles, starts restricting fuel flow, and quietly starves your injectors of clean, consistent fuel. Symptoms creep up slowly. Rough, idle, hesitation on the throttle, struggling on highway on-ramps. The solution experienced mechanics have used for decades is to install an external inline filter between the tank and the engine, a transparent filter rated for fuel injection with compatible working pressure. Now you can actually see the fuel before it reaches the injectors. When the filter turns dark, you swap it for around $8 in 5 minutes of work. Simple, cheap, effective. The alternative is waiting for your fuel pump to collapse and paying around $1,200 to replace the entire pump pan filter assembly inside the tank. 9. The water vapor trick that cleans combustion chambers but demands respect. This sounds like something an old-timer at a rest stop would tell you. But water induction decarbonization is a real technique used in specialized shops that, when done correctly, can make an engine with 200,000 miles breathe again. With the engine fully warmed and idling smoothly, introduce a fine, controlled mist of distilled water directly into the intake manifold. As it enters a superheated combustion chamber, the water instantly turns to steam, and that steam acts like a microblast. Blasting carbon deposits off piston tops, valves, and combustion surfaces, the carbon exits through the exhaust as thick, dark smoke. When done right, the result is a quieter engine, smoother idle, and in some cases, measurable efficiency gains. The risk, and this needs to be said clearly, is real. Introducing too much water too fast can cause hydrolock. Liquid doesn't compress. A cylinder full of water can bend a connecting rod instantly. That's a $4,000 to $6,000 engine rebuild. So, ultra-fine mist. Stable RPM. Patience. Never large amounts of water. If you're not sure what you're doing, don't attempt this without someone experienced watching over your shoulder. 8. The ignition coil, cross-swap. Ignition coils from different manufacturers sometimes share the same connector and mechanical fit but deliver different spark voltage levels. Some cars from different brands use interchangeable coils, and in certain cases, a performance model coil delivers 10 to 15% more spark energy than the factory original. That swap improves ignition consistency, reduces misfires at high RPM, and gives you cleaner, sharper acceleration. Cost at a junkyard, around $80. Cost at the dealership for the original coil, $350 to $500. But the coil doesn't work alone. It depends on a well-calibrated computer to deliver everything it's capable of. 7. The ECU relearn cycle. When you disconnect the battery or replace a sensor, the car drives weird for a few days. That happens because the ECU lost its calibrations for air-fuel mixture, throttle position, and idle control, and needs to relearn everything under real driving conditions. But you can speed up that process and guarantee a cleaner calibration. After reconnecting the battery or performing any work on the electronic system, turn the key to the on position without starting the car. Wait 10 seconds, start the engine, and let it idle without touching anything for 15 minutes. No AC, no revving, no radio. During that window of stability, the ECU recalibrates its parameters far more efficiently than it would learning on the fly in traffic. Dealerships charge for this procedure as a reprogramming service anywhere from $180 to $250. It's the exact same process. 6. The ignition timing advanced through fuel. Engines leave the factory calibrated conservatively to handle variable quality fuel and careless drivers. That means ignition fires a few degrees before the ideal point, leaving performance and efficiency on the engineering table in engines with a mechanical distributor. Common in cars through the 90s and early 2000s. Physically advance the timing 2 degrees and feel the engine come alive at low end and during passing. In modern engines with electronic management, there's an easier way. Run 2 or 3 full tanks of premium fuel and reset the ECU using the procedure we just covered. The computer detects no knock and progressively advances ignition timing on its own, delivering faster acceleration and slightly better fuel economy. Technically, outside the manufacturer's emissions certification parameters, in real life, for the everyday American driver sitting in I-10 traffic in Houston at 6 p.m., it makes every bit of difference. 5. The catalytic converter cleaning nobody admits to doing. The catalytic converter, that brick full of honeycomb channels sitting in your exhaust, progressively clogs with ash and carbon over the years. That restriction in exhaust flow robs the engine of horsepower and increases fuel consumption. Replacing an OEM catalytic converter can cost anywhere from $800 to $2,000 depending on the model. Before replacing it, There's a technique mechanics use with gasoline under controlled conditions. Add half a can of lacquer thinner to a half tank of gas and drive roughly 30 miles at steady highway speed, keeping the exhaust hot. The solvent, as it burns, partially dissolves the internal deposits in the converter and restores flow. Not approved by any manufacturer or the EPA. It's the same chemistry behind the catalytic converter cleaning services that some specialty shops offer. I've personally seen a check engine light go out in the middle of a highway after this. Treatment for the crankcase breather filter. The PCV valve, positive crankcase ventilation, regulates internal engine pressure. When it sticks or loses efficiency, excess oil vapors flood the intake manifold and stick to the valves, building up carbon, causing hesitation, and roughing up the idle. Instead of replacing the PCV valve outright, old-school mechanics install a small, inline fuel filter on the breather hose before the manifold. It catches the oil mist before it reaches the intake. Result, cleaner valves, smoother idle, less carbon buildup. The filter costs around $6 at any auto parts store and clips onto the hose in under 2 minutes. The dealership sells an oil pre-separator, a catch-kin starting at $300. The DIY version works the same way. 3. The throttle response booster. Modern cars have an intentional delay between the moment you press the gas pedal and the moment the engine actually responds. It exists for emissions control, comfort, and traction management. The practical effect is that feeling like the car is always one beat behind you. Plug and play. Electronic throttle controllers exist on the market and intercept the pedal signal before it reaches the ECU, eliminating the lag. But there's a cheaper version that uses only an electronic procedure. After the ECU, relearn cycle from trick 7, disconnect the battery again. With the battery disconnected, pump the gas pedal 10 times all the way to the floor and release completely each time. Reconnect the battery and start the car. This recalibrates the pedal voltage mapping and the system reads throttle position with more sensitivity. The car doesn't gain horsepower, but the response gets sharper, more direct, and the driving experience changes immediately. TWO, the injector soak trick. Fuel injectors are precision nozzles that atomize fuel into a microscopic mist thousands of times per minute. Over time, varnish and deposits build up on the tip and change the spray pattern. The fuel stops being a mist and becomes droplets. Rough idle, uneven acceleration, increased fuel consumption. Instead of dumping a cleaner product in the gas tank and hoping it reaches the injectors, the direct technique is different. Disconnect the fuel supply line at the injector rail. Connect an external container with injector-specific cleaning solution. Let the engine run for 5 minutes on nothing but the solution, then shut it off and let it soak for another 10. When you restart, the engine will sputter, blow smoke, then smooth out completely. That's exactly what professional injector cleaning machines do. The difference is those machines are expensive and the shop service averages $300. The manual version, done carefully, delivers comparable results. And now we get to the trick that's worth more than all 16 others combined. 1. The oil additive. That breaks the manufacturer's rules. Your car's manufacturer will tell you to never add anything to the engine oil except engine oil. That recommendation protects their certification, not necessarily your engine. Friction modifiers based on molybdenum disulfide or products with extreme pressure additives meeting ZDDP specs create a nanometric protective layer on internal metal surfaces. That layer reduces friction, lowers operating temperature, and extends protection in situations where conventional oil would be pushed to its limit in high-mileage engines. The result is often noticeable. Quieter engine, disappear in chain, or rocker arm noise. Oil pressure maintained more consistently between changes. A customer brought me a Toyota Camry with 180,000 miles, rough idle with a rhythmic chain tick. We added a molybdenum treatment to fresh oil. After 30 minutes of driving, the tick was gone. The customer put another 40,000 miles on it after that, without a rebuild. The manufacturer doesn't want you to know this because a good additive makes their stock oil look optional. In practice, in engines that have put in years of hard work, it's the difference between lasting and lasting a long time. You just learned 17 secrets that together cost less than $100 but prevent more than $5,000 in repairs. Start today with a throttle body reset trick 17. It takes 30 seconds, costs nothing, and you can feel the difference before the day is over. But I need to tell you something before you close this video. There's one procedure that beats all 17 of these tricks combined. It's something so simple. You can do it once a month in your own driveway. No mechanic, no special tools. And it's the main reason my truck hit 387,000 miles without a serious rebuild. $12. 5 minutes. Kia, once a month. The video with that ritual is on your screen right now. If you're not doing this every month, you're quietly killing your engine and you don't even know it. Click to watch it now, because that's the part nobody ever told you, and it's the most important thing of all. If this video opened your eyes, drop a comment below with which tip you're trying first. Like it, subscribe, and share it with that friend who just walked out of a dealership with an estimate that made him want to cry. See you in the next one!